Former senior Trump advisor Jason Miller joins me now. Great to see you, Jason. You and I have both heard this for years in Washington, people claiming that Donald Trump is some sort of narcissist or something like that. And it's taken me a while to realize this, but the truth is, I think Donald Trump is the most selfless politician I've ever seen. And the reason is because he puts all of his interests aside and replaces it with the interests of the American people. And nobody in Washington has ever done that before. And that makes him selfless, if you ask me.
Yeah, Charlie, you're spot on. And I had the opportunity to spend a few minutes with the president yesterday, and his phone did not stop ringing. It was member after member calling, and the president was working them and making sure they're going to get across the finish line. And so what we're seeing is the single greatest start to a presidency in our nation's history. We already have this middle-class tax cut bill. He secured the border, and what'd that take, 24, 48 hours? Peace is breaking out all over the entire planet. There's so much good stuff that is going on all around this country and even around the world because of President Trump. It's great. And you look at that comparison against the Democrats. They have AOC, Hakeem Jeffries. You showed Mr. Fang Fang, Eric Swalwell. And then, of course, we have in New York this moron Mamdani guy who today came out, he identified as African-American and Asian. So the Democrats are a disaster.
You know, it was just 2 years ago. I had to sit down and do the math again. It was just 2 years ago. He was under indictment, criminal indictment, federal indictments by Democrats in New York City, in Washington, in Atlanta, Georgia. He was written off. Everybody thought he was finished. And as you say, the most successful 6 months. Just the border alone, if you just looked at the border alone, I would argue that that is the single greatest campaign promise ever kept in American history of politics.
Yeah, we've never seen anything like this. And just think back to when President Trump had his first tax cut bill back in the first term. They didn't get that done until December. It is now July 3rd, and the president and his team have gotten it done literally in half the time. The president willed this to happen. He had some great help. Vice President J.D. Vance was fantastic with this. Obviously, he's put together a good team. Leader Thune and Speaker Johnson. There are a couple of unsung heroes in this. The head of White House Leg Affairs, which is not normally a position that gets a lot of kudos, but James Braid and his boss, James Blair, the Deputy Chief of Staff, this team worked so hard to get this done. And I really got to give kudos, especially to Speaker Johnson for what he was able to do last night. The president was making calls late, the speaker was working it, and they got it done. And now the average middle-class family is going to get about $10,000 in tax breaks just this year. That's a big difference for people.
And you know, another big difference is that President Trump never stopped selling. And so he's going to continue to sell this thing. You know, we've seen a number of times where Republicans get a victory in Washington and then completely walk away from it and fail to sell the thing. And Donald Trump's not going to quit doing that. Jason Miller, it's so great to see you.
Thank you.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.